Hello everyone. I hope you're having a good week. Things are going well around the church. We've been working on our lightning strike problem, and hopefully this Sunday our sound will be back to normal. Appreciate all the work that's gone on to get that going. It's almost the end of July. I can't believe it, but August 16th we have another church fellowship event at the Coleman Aquatic Center. Holly Powell's been working on that. We'll let you know about that as it comes. Well, we've been studying the Lord's Prayer in church, and I've been thinking about prayer. And so I want to read you a verse out of a psalm as the encouraging word today. It is Psalm 130, and I just want to read verse 1. Out of the depths I cry to you, O Lord, hear my voice. Now that opening line, out of the depths, in Latin is de profundis, and in the Middle Ages that's how Christians knew this psalm. They didn't call it Psalm 130, they called it de profundis, out of the depths. Martin Luther was once asked by his students what was his favorite psalm, and he said de profundis, out of the depths. In fact, he said that this psalm he felt like was a summary of the gospel. It's the best summary of the gospel in the Bible. He was talking about these verses. If you, O Lord, kept a record of sins, O Lord, who could stand? But with you there is forgiveness, therefore you are feared. Luther loved this psalm so much that he wrote his own version of it, and the opening lines of his version go like this. He says, "From depths of woe I raise to thee my voice of lamentation. Lord, turn a gracious ear to me and hear my supplication." Now, I don't know if you know this about Martin Luther or not, probably you do, but he was a man who often suffered from deep depression. He was troubled by it his whole life, and he often dealt with his depression by singing. One time in particular, he was overwhelmed by the pressures of the church. He was depressed, and he said to his friends, "Let's make fun of the devil." And he got out his guitar. He said, "Let's make fun of the devil by singing De Profundis." And so he made his friends sing Psalm 130 as he played it on the guitar. Another person who loved this psalm, great Christian John Owen, the great English Puritan, great theological mind, great heart for Christ. But there was a time in his earlier life where he became very ill. He was on the verge of death, and with that illness came enormous fear. He was just terrified. He thought he was going to die. He thought he was going to go to hell. And it was Psalm 130 that God used to hold on to him and to keep him steady. John Owen said this about that psalm. He said, "I was brought near to the mouth of the grave, and my soul was oppressed with horror and darkness, but God graciously relieved my spirit by a powerful application of Psalm 130. And he loved it so much that when he got well, he wrote a 323-page book on this little psalm. Now, as I said, I wanted to make the connection to prayer. And in this opening verse, I think, we've been studying the Lord's Prayer and all the details about prayer there and the different petitions. But this gives us a super simple picture of prayer. And I wanted to go over that with you. What does it teach us? Well, the psalm shows us that, first of all, prayer is described simply as a cry. It says, "From the depths I cry to you, O Lord." We've had a lot of babies in worship during this season. We haven't been able to have a nursery, so there have been babies there, and they've been crying a lot. And I have to say, I've gotten used to it. In fact, I kind of like it. It sort of amuses me to hear these little babies cry. I'm not saying I'm not going to want to go back to a nursery someday, but for this season, it's been a lot of fun. If you think about a baby crying, a baby doesn't think, okay, I've tried these other things, now I'm going to cry to see if I can get my way. It's just instinctive. It just comes out of the instinctive heart of this child. The baby knows that he wants mother, and only mother will do. And so he cries, not as a technique, not even as manipulation, but from this baby's heart that longs for mother. And so that's a picture of prayer for us. Prayer is not a technique. It is not some sort of a manipulative tool that we use to try to get our way. Prayer at its very heart, true prayer, comes instinctively from a heart that has been born again. We're crying out to God to help us. But then look at the substance of this prayer. It's surprisingly simple. He just asked the Lord to listen. He just says, out of the depths I cry to you, O Lord. O Lord, hear my voice. Let your ear be attentive to my cry for mercy. Now the point is not that the Lord was not listening before, and that somehow through prayer and through crying we have to get his attention or kind of wake him up or make sure that he turns his head toward us and pays attention. He's always there. He always hears. He always pays attention. This is poetic shorthand. And the psalmist is saying, Lord, I'm hurting right now. And I'm in the depths and things are tough. And you know that. And you know what I want. You know the relief that I want. But I'm going to trust you for this. I want you to work this out in the way that's best and wisest as my Heavenly Father. That's the way Jesus prayed. I mean, think of his prayer in the Garden of Gethsemane where he prayed, let this cup pass from me. Yet not your will, my will, but yours be done. And God heard his son, and he answered that prayer, not in the exact way that Jesus had asked, but God carried out his plan, and he sustained his son by sending angels to help him during that time. And so this understanding of prayer as an instinctive cry, and as simply calling God to pay attention to us and to work his will in our life is something that really kind of demolishes our pride and our thoughts that we can manipulate God, and instead reconnects us to God as our Heavenly Father. Well, I hope that's an encouragement to you. As I said, we've been studying prayer together as we looked at the Lord's Prayer, but I want to commend to you De Profundis, Psalm 130, Martin Luther's favorite psalm. Maybe that will encourage you this week. I'll see you on the Lord's Day.